The government of El Salvador has blocked U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen from meeting Kilmar Ábrego García, a Maryland resident wrongly deported under the Trump administration. Van Hollen traveled to El Salvador to visit Garcia at a high-security prison but was told by the vice president that no meeting or call could be arranged. Garcia was granted protected status in 2019 yet deported due to what officials later called an administrative error. The U.S. Supreme Court has now ordered his return but no action has been taken. The case has drawn political heat. Van Hollen called it unjust and dismissed claims linking Garcia to gang. The White House has defended the deportation while Trump officials labeled the senator's visit as support for a terrorist. Van Hollen says pressure will continue with more U.S. lawmakers planning to follow up in El Salvador.
This is an unsustainable and unjust moment, so it cannot continue this way. I also told his wife and family that I would try to meet with Mr. Ábrego García while I was here. So I asked the vice president if I could meet with Mr. Ábrego García. And he said, well, you need to make earlier provisions to go visit CCOT. I said, I'm not interested at this moment in taking a tour of CCOT. I just want to meet with Mr. Ábrego García. He said he was not able to make that happen. I asked, he said he need a little more time. I asked him if I came back next week, whether I'd be able to see Mr. Ábrego García. He said he couldn't promise that either. So I asked him if I could get on the phone, either video phone or just a phone, and talk to Mr. Ábrego García. So I could just ask him how he's doing so I could report back to his family. He said he could not arrange that. He said maybe if the American embassy were to ask, maybe that could happen. So I will certainly ask the American embassy to ask the government of El Salvador to connect us by phone. I asked him how about his family? How can he talk to his wife so that she can hear his voice? I let him know that the family has requested that. He said he was not sure whether he could make that happen. So we have an unjust situation here. The Trump administration is lying about Ábrego García. The American courts have looked at the facts. In fact, the Trump administration lawyer, the government lawyer, admitted to the court that Mr. Ábrego García had been mistakenly taken in administrative error, that it was a mistake. But instead of fixing the problem and addressing that injustice, do you know what the Trump administration did? they put that lawyer, who's a 15-year veteran of the Department of Justice, on administrative leave. And berated that lawyer who told the truth to the judge. So I want to just close by reading you what the judge said. This is a federal district court judge, the District of Maryland. And I'm quoting from Judge Zinnes here. As defendants acknowledge, and the defendants here are the government, or the Trump administration, they had no legal authority to arrest him, no justification to detain him, and no grounds to send him to El Salvador, let alone deliver him into one of the most dangerous prisons in the Western Hemisphere. The judge went on to say, and I quote, having confessed grievous error, the defendants, and again, that's the government, that's the Trump administration, having confessed grievous error, they now argue that this court lacks the power to hear the case. And that they lack the power, the court lacks the power to order Ábrego Garcia's return. So a U.S. District Court judge has ordered the Trump administration to bring him home. The United States Supreme Court, by 9-0 vote, has ordered the administration to facilitate his return. So the Trump administration needs to obey the law. But I'm also asking the government of El Salvador and the president and vice president of El Salvador not to keep a man who was illegally abducted from the United States and charged with no crime to remain in CCOT, when as a sovereign country, they have the power to let him go and let him go now. And I hope they will. Thank you.
Are you concerned whether Mr. Ábrego García is still alive?
I don't know about his health status. That's exactly why I wanted to meet with him directly. That's why I wanted to talk to him on the phone. That's why I want to arrange a phone call with his wife. I mean, this is a notorious prison. And the family, this is a guy, again, he just got disappeared off the streets of Maryland. He ends up in, I'm sorry. This is why I wanted to see him. I also want to say to everybody here, you may know, in the state of Maryland, we have a very wonderful, robust Salvadorian population. And they contribute greatly to our state.
Que si es una afrenta del gobierno de Bukele al sistema de justicia de Estados Unidos.
From the Bukele administration to the United States of America?
Well, I'm asking President Bukele to. Okay, I'm asking President Bukele, under his authority as president of El Salvador, to do the right thing and allow Mr. Ábrego García to walk out of a prison, a man who's charged with no crime, convicted of no crime, and who was illegally abducted from the United States.
Es por eso que yo le estoy haciendo la petición al presidente Bukele para que suelte al señor Ábrego García, que no fue acusado de ningún crimen, para que pueda salir.
Do you maintain any hope that you'll be able to meet with Kilmar?
I'm going to keep pressing. You want to?
Tiene esperanza de permitan ver al señor Ábrego García.
I will keep pressing in my remaining time here, and I will keep pressing beyond that if necessary.
Última pregunta, por favor, última pregunta.
Las gestiones después de la reunión que tuvo con el vicepresidente Ulloa va a generar otras gestiones o qué otra estrategia puede desde el Congreso puede generar usted para reunirse y para garantizar las condiciones del señor Kilmar García. What other strategy do you think that you can undertake, or what other activity are you going to undertake to make sure you know that you can have the release of Mr. Ábrego García?
Well, I will say that as a member of Congress, we'd like to work to have good relations between, the people of the United States and the people of El Salvador. And
On the live stream, the question was, what more can Congress do?
And that's why we need to make sure that we keep working to secure justice, because Congress has a very important role to play in the relationship between the United States and the people of El Salvador.
Por eso siempre tenemos que trabajar muy duro para que se haga justicia. El Congreso tiene mucho que ver con las relaciones entre los Estados Unidos y El Salvador.
And so, for example, the Trump administration is reportedly going to pay the government of El Salvador up to $15 million to house people sent from the United States. 15 million.
Se ha sabido que el gobierno de El Salvador va a recibir hasta 15 millones de dólares por darle albergue a
And, I don't think there are going to be a lot of members of Congress that will clearly be unwilling to spend money to keep people like Kilmar García in CCOT, because again, he was illegally abducted from the United States and charged with no crime. So why should the taxpayers of the United States pay the government of El Salvador to lock up a man who was illegally abducted from the United States and committed no crime?